This is a series of films that tells the history of contemporary fashion photography as seen through the eyes of models.
This was actually I think the first gig I've ever had.
Right.
As you can tell, like, this is back when I was like still wearing my braids. And my mom my mom's a hairdresser, so she would do these braids for me. I wish I could go back to them, but they're not as versatile as having straight hair. But basically, there was this artist named JMSN, spelled JMSN, and he reached out to me basically asking if I would be a part of his music video. Yeah. So these are actually stills from a music video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show you the music video after. I love the music video. I always watch it, have it on my phone. I listen to it all the time, the song.
Okay.
And this was like, okay, so they flew me out to LA. I stayed in the artist's house, and the artist stayed at his friend's house.
Yeah.
He had a really nice apartment, stayed at his apartment. And they picked me up from the airport. This was my first time in LA. So they took me to like In-N-Out and like those types of things. And I'm looking at the Hollywood sign like, oh my God, Mama, I made it. And we're on set shooting and everything. And I think the second day they brought a horse.
Yeah. And
I have a picture on Instagram. I'm wearing a jean jacket and I have like a red lip and I have the horses in the background. I'm kind of just looking like, that better not be for me. Like, that better be for a completely different shoot. They didn't say anything about horses or anything like that. But this time I had no management, had no anything. So I kind of just like, was like, okay, well, I guess I'll get onto the horse. I think I got paid like $300 or something like that for the shoot.
Yeah.
But, it was such an experience. Like, there's so much wrong with the whole scenario that like would never happen today. Like me getting on a horse without prior agreement and like so many things. Me getting paid $200 for this crazy, like, I don't know. I love these pictures. These are so beautiful. This is a horse, obviously, a pinto, and
did the photographer tell you kind of like, did he say I want you to be this person, that person? What was the brief you got?
No, it was kind of just like
get on the horse.
Yeah, it was kind of just get on the horse, but they were just really cool. Like they were just really cool people. So I just had a lot of fun. This was another situation where like, okay, so the bra, I have chicken cutlets in my bra because it was a sheer lace bra, and I was just like, nope, not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be nude. They wanted me to wear a thong on the horse as well, and I was like, nope, you guys are gonna have to pause the whole shoot, go and find me full underwear and bring that because I'm not gonna wear anything, I'm not gonna wear anything less than what I was wearing here. So at least I stood up for myself in that way, but other than that, I had no clue what to like do. So.
And was it a long shoot or was it a kind of? Or were you the only model?
It was a long shoot, and yes, I was the only model.
Right.
I was the only model. This shoot was so epic though. Like my mom, when it got released, people were like sending it to my mom, like, "Oh my God, she's in the music video!" And then my mom watched it, and she was like, "You did a porn?" Like it was hilarious. It's definitely not porn, but like this type of outfit, even like on a horse, whatever, she's like not for it. Right. Now, obviously, she's gotten over it as I've like progressed in my career. But this was like the first thing I ever did. Flew out to a different country, and she was like, "What is this?" I was like in a full black latex suit with like my mouth cut out. It was,
And do you think you would ever model nude if, say, Playboy or somebody like that approached you?
Not for Playboy, but maybe if it was something big enough.
Right.
Do you know
you
what I
mentioned
mean?
Victoria's Secret, but I guess Victoria's Secret is probably
nude.
No, they're not nude either, are they?
No, that's not nude. That's like this.
Yeah, hard to know who does do nude anymore.
I know, right?
It's weird. I mean, it's a whole debate we've had on SHOWstudio as to kind of what's happened now. It's got so far the other way.
Yeah.
That actually people are kind of.
And I actually don't have a problem with nudity. I feel like, for me personally, it's just such a big deal. Like people just want to know. People are so curious. So I don't think, like, for example, something as light as me, how I do my makeup. Yeah. Like personally, people are like, what foundation does she choose, and so on and so forth. So I'm not just gonna do a video on YouTube or whatever on how to do my makeup because it's such a, people are so interested in it that I'd rather wait for it to be like a bigger thing where maybe a huge magazine wants to do a big article on it or so on and so forth. So.
I mean, nudity has become something that you see. I mean, it used to be. If you look back at the photography of the 1970s, fashion photography of the 1970s, it was kind of
the norm.
Yeah, it was the norm. It's interesting to know where that morality shift has happened.
I know.
But it seems to be very firmly entrenched now.
sucks.
Yeah, I completely agree. It sends out a kind of weird message that there's something wrong with
exactly.
who you are and nude and that sort of thing. There's one thing, there's a difference between pornography and nudity, and we can debate that, but it's certainly something which women's bodies seems to be now demonized, which I think is abhorrent.
Yeah.
You're sort of saying, oh, women shouldn't be shown breastfeeding or those sorts of things.
It's weird. It
goes very much the other way into a sort of odd, moralistic.
It's weird because there was such a huge time where it was the norm. It's not like we've slowly just progressed from like never showing nudity to like a point now where it's like people kind of want to free the nipple or whatever. It's like there was a point in time where like that was normal. So I don't know how we kind of went, I guess, backwards.
I don't know either. I'm interested whether it's to do with things like Facebook or Apple or whatever who kind of.
No, that's probably it. There's so many rules and regulations to the things that we actually want to do or have in our lives. Yeah. And
I think it's not a good situation, and I'm trying to do what I can do to sort of show there's a different way and a different way of portraying women. But it's very hard, if you say, okay, I want to portray a woman nude, when you say, well, that's you're in that case objectifying them. I'm saying no, I'm trying to do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a person, and you should be able to see them as a person, not as a sort of
object.
Yeah, well, also not somebody who feels that they can't show, that it's somewhere wrong.
Yeah, or being like shamed because of it. Like.
So it's something I think the moral compass has gone in the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's crazy too because it comes to another thing where like even when I'm in a bikini or something like that, people are like, you need to put on clothes, you need to this, you need to that, and I'm like, I'm not even. That's why I kind of go against wanting to be a role model because the definition of a role model is someone who is to be looked up to be like duplicated, and I don't want anyone to duplicate me because I know that I don't want what I do to influence directly what you do and for someone to be mad at me because of what someone else did. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't mind you being inspired by me, but don't pull directly from me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also that you want to have your life lead.
Exactly.
Not be led by what your audience or your fans.
Because as well, there's so many kids who do follow me, and I feel like if I was to do a nude shoot, by all means, if I wanted to, I would do it. You know what I mean? I don't really care about what mothers think on my Instagram. But if I was to do it, I know it'd be a big thing where it's like, you're supposed to be a role model, you're supposed to be this, but I've never even called myself a role model before. I mean, it's just something that is like, people automatically see me and they're like, yes, she's a role model. I'm like, no.
It's a tricky, you tread a tricky path.
Yeah.
Fame is a very tricky concept. And people expect things of you, which you've never said you'll do.
Exactly.
They expect you to be a certain way, which you never said you will be.
Precisely.
So it is tricky. I think, personally, knowing you a little bit, I think you're strong enough to do what you want to do. And they can deal with it, and I think that's the best attitude you can have.
Yeah.
But
very Kanye of me.
Very Kanye of you. Good for you. But I do think that's it's something that fame does to people. It gives them expectations about themselves, and also then you feel you have to live up to other people's feelings about you.
Yeah.
And then also people do the weird thing is you're not as good as I thought you were, or not as tall as I thought you were, whatever it is.
Right.
They feel let down by the person they wanted to come.
By an idea that they created themselves.
Yeah, and it is tricky. It's one of those weird things that I don't know. My guess is it doesn't happen, but if you were going into some sort of management situation with an agency, they should take your side and say, okay, this is going to happen, and you're going to deal it like this, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if agencies do that, to be honest, but there's a certain amount of psychology to doing the career that you've chosen.
Yes, 100%.
Which you need. I know you're strong, but you need to be prepared for that. You need for something to say, okay.
I feel like I just also create a balance too. Like, there's times when something will happen, like there will be some type of discussion I'm having, like the blackface situation, where people were like it was 50-50, it was cut in half. Like people were like, oh, you're a coon, you're a this, you're a that, you're all kinds of stuff, like all over the internet. It was crazy. But I was like, it's also a gap in communication as well, because I can only say so much and you can only interpret so much from what I'm saying, especially if we're not having a face-to-face conversation. If I can only write so much in a caption, and you will take from that what you want to take from it, be it positive, negative, whatever. Your upbringing and your understanding is going to one person is not going to understand it the same way another person does. So it's very, very tricky. So hard.
Yeah. Well, my feeling is that I'm sure you'll be fine. But it is you can see by other people in the industry, it's a tricky business.
Yeah,
Kate Moss had to put up a lot of very unfavourable attention, for doing basically nothing very much.
Right.
I mean, she didn't do anything so horrendous, and yet, poor girl was followed by paparazzi for 10 years of her life when she was a small child, and also she was, she was demonised. What had she done that was so bad? It was kind of anyway. So I think it is that other people put expectations on you, and then you're expected to live up to their expectations of you.
Mm-hmm. It's rough.
But it's tougher, I think, than people kind of give credit for.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're
I feel like people also do have a very wrong idea of like a model and what their career is. We're not just, especially in today's day and age, like we're not just someone who you look at anymore, and even with just being looked at, like that's not just it. Once you look, you have an idea. Once you have an idea, you have words that come spewing, and there's a lot of things that comes from that. So it's a lot harder than I think people give credit for.
What do you think is most misunderstood about you?
About me?
What do you think people get wrong most?
I think that role model.
Yeah.
I feel like people have such a pinpoint like idea that I'm this like, oh my gosh, guys, you should all love each other, and like I'm real. You know what I mean? I'm very honest. I'm to the point. I'm pretty blunt sometimes. I'm not like all sunshine and flowers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like people just assume that I am this role model who their children should look up to and all kinds of stuff. But I'm really not. I'm like, no, fuck that. Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, it is tricky because you represent something that's an idea, which is to sort of say that actually, well, just people, we're not, our skin is not the important thing that we are. And so of course people will take that as a kind of very positive. It is a very positive message to have, important thing to say. But it does put you in a slightly kind of saintly department.
Exactly. I am no saint.
Yes.
I am absolutely no saint. And then that's another thing, when it came to like Lemonade and her coming out with Lemonade, I was so happy to be a part of it because it was such a shift in what the idea of Beyonce, this queen, this Saint Beyonce and all this, nonsense is, when like really she's just a human being who works really hard. And I feel like myself or anyone should look up to her for just that, being a strong woman, being a strong black woman, being a mother, being all these things, but not idolizing or making a god out of this human being. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has issues, everyone cries, everyone yells, everyone gets angry. No one is perfect. So
no, it's that is one of the problems we have with the whole thing of fame.
And then also not demonizing someone because they do make mistakes or they do cheat or they do, you know what I mean? Just because it's all because it's so seen.
Yeah.
But people lie every day. People cheat every day, and they don't get demonized for it because they're seen as a normal human. Yeah. As soon as you're put in the spotlight, it's like, but you cannot. You can't. No, I still can. I'm still a human being.
Yeah. But it's a very tricky and very interesting position.
Yeah.
I think you'll deal with it fine, but it is has its.
I like your confidence in me.
Wow. It's everything I know about you makes me think that.
Thank you.